Alright, welcome back good people. On this video, I'm titling this video Countries because I did some studying this week on countries because I was asking myself, am I familiar with the different countries that are around the world? And my answer was no. So I wanted to share some of the things that I've learned this week with you, because if you were to ask yourself that question, your answer may be no as well, right? So the first thing is, do you know how many countries there are in the world today? Any idea? Do you know? Not that person or that person. Do you know how many countries there are in the world today? Well, let me share that with you. There are 195 countries in the world today. Check. You have learned something today. Never forget that. 195 countries. Now let me read a little bit more about those countries. This total comprises 193 countries that are member states of the United Nations and 2 countries that are non-member observed states. The Holy See and the State of Palestine are the 2 that are non-members. Now, of those 195 countries in the world, 54 countries are in Africa. That's right, 54 countries are in Africa. 48 countries are in Asia. I didn't know that. Did you know that? You just learned something else. 44 countries are in Europe. 33 countries are in Latin America and the Caribbean. 14 countries are in Oceania, Oceania, and 2 in Northern America. Now, when you think about that, where would you say that the United States lie in those countries? Any idea? Is it South America? Is it North America? Is it what? Is it Europe? Is it Asia? Any idea? Well, I'm going to share that with you in a minute. But before I get to that, I want to share this with you. Do you know which is the smallest country in the world? Take a guess. It is a country. I didn't know it was a country. Okay, it's the Vatican City. That's right. It's considered the smallest country in the world based on landmass. It says Vatican City is the smallest country in the world, measuring just 0.2 square miles, almost 120 times smaller than the island of Manhattan. Situated in the western bank, on the western bank of the Tiber River, T-I-B-E-R, Tiber River, Vatican City is 2 miles border, is landlocked by Italy. Now, as I was reading that, I didn't know that the Vatican City was considered a country. But now I know that, and so do you. So I'm going to share a few more things with you. Do you know what the poorest country in the world is? Well, the poorest country is Central African Republic, followed by the Congo Democratic Republic. And then you have Burundi, B-U-R-U-N-D-I. And finally, Libya. Those are the 4 poorest countries in the world. Now let's flip that and identify the richest countries in the world. Do you have any idea what those are? When I say rich, I mean rich, right? These people incredible. It says the richest country in the world is a place called Qatar. It's the small Middle Eastern country, often ranks as one of the richest countries in the world per capita. It says Qatar's population is approximately 2.27 million people and giving its total GDP of approximately $124,930,000 per person, making it the richest country in the world. Now that's pretty impressive, right? That's a lot of money versus the countries that are the poorest, right? But getting back to naming some of the countries, I want to name the top 10 countries for you so that you can identify these as countries, not continents, not states, but countries. Because a lot of times people can't really identify with that or the certain thing being a country or a continent. So the top number one continent with the most people is China. When China is a country, country with the most people is China, followed by India. Now, China has 1.4 billion people with a B. India has 1.3 billion people with a B. Now this is 1.3 billion plus, right? Just like China has 1.4 billion plus. Number 3 is the United States, the U.S. It has 326 million plus people. Then we have Indonesia. It has 266 million plus people. Number 5, Brazil. It has 210 plus million people. Pakistan, Nigeria, and Bangladesh follow those. Russia has 1.4 million. 143 million. And Mexico, being number 10, has 130 million. Now, those are some really populated areas, right? But the economy in all those areas is not very well, right? Not always in good shape. So just because there's a lot of people there doesn't mean that a lot of people are doing well. Actually, when there is a lot of people, normally it's a lot of people who aren't doing well. And there's only a very few who are doing extremely well, right? So I just wanted to share that with you this week about countries, because when I have an urge to know something or do some research about something, it kind of pulls me in that direction. And I kind of want to know what that is, right? Because certain questions have come to mind that I hadn't even thought of, right? So as I'm there, actually in the midst of the research, then I'll lock in on something else that kind of pulls me in that direction. And then I'll get some information about that. Then I'll lock in on something else and get some information about that. Now, if you don't do research, or if you're not having to do research on anything, then you're probably getting all your information secondhand or third hand, or if there's a fourth hand, right? You never know, right? But it's important that you understand for yourself. It's important that you get some information. Like when I began this video, did you know how many countries there were? Now you do, right? There are 195 countries. Don't forget that. What I'm sharing with you today is not information that you're going to get on the day-to-day, right? Because you're not going to find yourself in these different areas or different arenas. So when I get a chance to share something with you, I want you to know that I put in the time and the research to bring it to you so you can trust it based on what I say. Now, if you don't want to trust me, that's fine. But these are not my quotes. These are not my information. These are statistics from research, right? Do the research. Google. That's who I use. And that's who you should use. Because anything you want to know today, anything you want to know, it's that simple. Just Google it. Right? SpeakLarry.com.